Hi, hello. Welcome to another episode of Isaiah's Newsstand. It's your host, Isaiah Edwards. The date is September the 22nd, 2024. Hopefully this episode finds you well, in good spirits and high hopes. As for me, I'm doing pretty good. Let's see. Today was like over one of those days where it was overall good, but definitely had a couple of snags. And I say day because it was kind of like I'll include the 24-hour cycle, but I really had a good time last night and overall a good day today. So we'll get into it. But essentially, we'll start yesterday. I come back, post, doing my little podcast, talking to y'all, come back from my walk, and I noticed that my Xbox is just off. And I'm like, oh, okay, maybe it ran over the hour that I have and, just went to sleep. Let me try to turn it on. Nothing. And it looked like the power supply or whatever died or something to that effect. And I was like, okay, that sucks. So I was like, all right, let me begrudgingly go back to my Fire Stick to use that for my TV, streaming device. And I try to use it, and it's just more jank, more junk than ever before. Just not working, not, like, I tried resetting it, tried doing all this stuff, to no avail. So I'm just going through these tech issues, realizing, like, I'm blowing my nap time, some of my game time, to do this, and that's a bummer, and I'm planning on going out. So I just try to do my best I can. I say, okay, whatever. Let's just go out. So I wound up going out and, we're hanging out Northside with the homies. It was cool. It was chill. Had a really nice time. I guess we'll go ahead and segue into the food corner. Went to Chameleon and I was really feeling a salad, for the big reason why, I had been sick and I'd blown through all my salad earlier in the week than expected. So I just didn't have any greens in the house. And I was like, oh, I want a nice salad. And my friend had got a nice salad last time we were at Chameleon. So I was like, let me get the Caesar salad. Let me get the Caesar. So I got the Caesar salad with an order of fries and a pound of bone-in wings, hot. And it was great. It was amazing. I will say though, because I'm getting bone-in wings, my hands are just so messy, and I do not have a good efficient method for eating wings. I know I should, I'm 33, what's wrong with me? But that's just because I'm just a sloppy guy at the end of the day. I hold no illusions about that. But man, I was just digging into these wings. The salad was a nice little balance. And then of course with the fries. So it was good. Yummy. I had a side of ranch. I probably should ask for the blue cheese, but I was like, I'm going to let it happen. It's good. Then just continuing chilling with the homies. They wound up giving me a piece of pizza. And I was like, oh, thank you. Love you. And I got to try the other salad that they had. So I tried the Caesar, but apparently they had a house salad that had a vinaigrette and some onions and carrots and some other stuff in it. And I was like, okay, good. This is a win-win. So I really got to eat up last night. But other than that, we're just hanging out, chilling. We wind up coming back to the same place, coming back to Chameleon later on that night. We went to a bar that I hadn't been to before called Tilly's Lounge. It was very cute, little gay bar. It was fun. At one point, my friend comes back and tells me, he goes, yo, they're playing Sting in the room, and in the main room. So I find a little I come back and I'm getting water and I'm like, oh my god, they really are playing Sting. Well, there's some house DJ playing some other shit, I think. So it was just a vibe. I love that. Be definitely cool if we get to go back there again. But then we doubled back and we realized a band that we really like, the Harlequins, were playing. So that was fucking dope. Got to see them. And, then just proceeded to chill for the rest of the night. Also, a little bit of a quest item. I got my birthday boobies back. So there you go. If you know, you know, from a previous episode. So yes, all is right in the home now, at least in that regard. But fast forward to back to today. I wake up and I'm like, all right, let me try this Fire Stick again, right? Try the Fire Stick. It's working better than yesterday. And I'm like, maybe it just needed to warm up or something, whatever. So I proceed to go about my day. I work out, do just whatever ho-hum stuff, just hang out, whatever, go through my day, get a good nap in, by the way. I come up out of this nap though, and it's just not working again, and I'm livid. I'm seeing red, and I had just realized, I'm like, so what are my options? What am I gonna do? What was I gonna do yesterday before I had kind of just resigned to try to work with this Fire Stick? I remember I was talking to my friend, and he was like, yeah, I have a Google Chromecast. It's an older one. It doesn't have the remote, which is lame, but like it overall is fine. Sometimes we'll have some problems. So I was a little bit apprehensive, but I was like, all right, I'm going to try this Google Chromecast, because I literally, I chucked the Fire Stick across my room in anger. I was so upset. So I was like, let me go ahead and get this new thing. And luckily I was able to get one that was pretty cheap, with the remote. So I was like, all right, cool. And so far it's running. I got it running in silent right now. I'm watching the Hasanabi stream, so that's cool. It's crystal clear, so I'm like, hell yeah, nice. Because literally, like, it's hard to like troubleshoot the kind of situation I'm in, because I'm like, hey, does this thing work? Because like if the Fire Stick would usually work on like any other thing, but for some reason doing like a live stream, it just wasn't working. It was just crapping out. So, looks like all is good now. I will say it's definitely a sad thing now, because I no longer have any working devices from like my youth, like consoles is what I'm trying to say. Sorry. But like, because I've always been a console kid, at least to some extent, right? And even though these things have become paperweights for me for like the past, I don't know, 10 years, it still is a nice nostalgic factor of having that. But like, I don't want to pay hundreds of dollars for a console that I really don't play games for. So, like, I'm glad that this Google Chromecast thing is working. Knock on some wood. Hopefully it's fine and good and dandy. I will say a caveat I do know, not that I'm sponsored or it matters, but it's a bit of a bummer that I can't get Prime on here, like Prime Video. So like if I do want to watch The Boys and catch up on that, I'll be kind of SOL. But I think that there's an in run around it. You can do like kind of a mirroring thing. Also, I have other ways of being able to watch it, so it's fine. It's not a big deal. But that was just a bit of a hiccup, a bit of a hurdle for me. But other than that, things have been good. Let's see here. We talked about my foods, so we're good there. I did get to have a little bit of late night taquitos and things of that nature, so that was yummy. But yeah, all right. Let's go ahead and do our startup, and we'll get into some news. Hopefully that sounds good. Ooh wee. Excuse me. Sorry. All right. From the Associated Press. Mass shooting kills 4 and wounds 17 in nightlife district in Birmingham, Alabama. 4 people were killed and 17 others injured when multiple shooters opened fire Saturday in what police described as a targeted hit on one of the people killed at a popular nightlife spot in Birmingham, Alabama. The shooting happened shortly after 11 p.m. Saturday in 5 Points South, a district filled with entertainment venues, restaurants, and bars that is often crowded on weekend nights. The mass shooting, one of several this year in the city, unnerved residents in the area and left city officials pleading for help to solve both the crime and address the broader problem of gun violence. The priority is to find these shooters and get them off our streets, Birmingham Mayor Randall Woodfin said at a Sunday press conference. The shooting occurred on the sidewalk and street outside Hush, a lounge in the entertainment district. Bloodstains were visible on the sidewalk outside the venue Sunday morning. Birmingham Chief Scott Thurmond said authorities believe the shooting targeted one of the people who was killed, possibly in a murder for hire. He said a vehicle pulled up and multiple shooters got out and began firing, then fled the scene. We believe that there was a hit, if you will, on a particular person. Excuse me, Thurman said. Police said approximately 100 shell casings were recovered at the scene. Thurmond said law enforcement was working to determine what weapons were used, but they believe some of the gunfire was fully automatic. Investigators were also trying to determine whether anyone fired back, creating a crossfire. Also, a thing that they talk about that was kind of, I guess, newer to me, or maybe I had forgotten, but the term Glock switches, which is essentially a modification that you can convert semi-automatic handguns to deliver more rapid fire, and assault rifles with the intent of doing harm. So they had apparently that in the situation, or at least that might have been a potential element here. But I mean, granted, Glock switches are already something that's already illegal, so it's already something that they're trying to put a clamp down on anyway. But just crazy that that's something that's just like boom, you can just change mode and then brrr. So that's pretty intense. It's pretty scary. Hopefully, I can come back with an update in terms of like finding out more about what happened, potential motive, or even just some suspects and stuff like that. But I know that in terms of like the people who are wounded, it ranges from good to critical. So sadly, very typical, very common situation here in the States, in the United States. But just wanted to go ahead and start off with that. Moving on, though, into another story. This was one that kind of trickled through. I heard it throughout the week, but it was definitely like overshadowed by let's say P. Diddy and his sex trafficking and all that shit. But I got this one from Complex. Toronto rappers among group charged in human trafficking ring following 5-month investigation. A pair of Toronto rappers are 2 of 5 people who were charged for allegedly operating a human trafficking ring in the 6th, which is, a little bit of a vernacular for Toronto there, if you know, you know. On Wednesday, Toronto's CTV News reported that Halton Regional Police were able to charge the 5 suspects after a 5-month investigation that claimed the group had multiple victims from September of 2019 to September 2024. Authorities claimed Lady SB and Casino Barnes were part of the group, which also included the latter's brother. SB Casino and his brother are facing a multitude of charges, including trafficking in persons, knowingly advertising sexual services, and assault. The other 2 involved Jonathan Bennett and Shuwayne Mitchell. Each face 1 count of procuring/exercising control. Let's see. During the arrests that were made Tuesday, police seized a large amount of cash, a loaded firearm with ammo, a prohibited magazine, a vehicle, and documents identifying the victims. While police did not disclose how many victims they found, they claimed there are still more in the Toronto area. Now, I'm not acquainted at all with Lady SB or Casino Barnes. I had not seen their faces until this week. But apparently they had been in the scene. There's an interview from No Jumper, which is kind of a garbage kind of podcasting situation with the host Adam22. Essentially, though, there was an interview with Lady SB, and he's trying to nail down well, what do you do to make what have you been doing to make so much money? And essentially she says that she had a pass as an exotic dancer, and then but how does she bring in her money now? She says, I had a French bulldog business, SB said, before claiming Adam was trying to get her to be fully honest about where her income was coming from. Well, I'm not going to say illegal shit. I'll tell you later, but I do have a French bulldog business, and I have 6 female and 1 boy who breeds all of them, and I sell each pup starting at $3,500, and I have approximately 2 litters a year. I'm a rich girl. Who knows how legitimate that statement even is, if that's real or not, whatever. But yeah, I'm glad that these guys got up. They're off the streets. Obviously, just a very unfortunate situation that they're running this kind of makeshift ad hoc, sex trafficking ring. But I mean, it just kind of goes to show that like it doesn't take that much to make this kind of fucking grim work happen, unfortunately. You can be Diddy and have it at that level, and that's insane and dastardly, where literally you're having these quote unquote freak offs and shit's getting so bad, you're flying in, like sex workers and shit, and then you're strapping them up to IVs and whatnot. But you could also have it as like DIY, as like, well, hey, I'm doing this shit, and I have like maybe a small amount of people, but I'm still doing the abuses, I'm still doing the crimes. So yeah, obviously real fucking shame here. So boo, tomato, tomato, tomato to these group of people, and I'm sure the music probably fucking sucks if I'm being real here, but I don't know. You can let me know if you've heard it or not. Listen to them. All right, let's see. Get another person I got some tomatoes for. Let's see. This next article comes from The Guardian. Elon Musk backs down in his fight with Brazilian judges to restore X. Kind of surprised to see old boy, actually, cry, ooh, uncle. But good, because at the end of the day, this whole fucking thing, this loggerheads moment was essentially keeping people from, being on an app where they were using, for whatever fucking reason. Hey, I don't love X, I don't love Elon Musk, but I do use the app every day. So I do feel for the people having to like go out of their way, using a VPN, potentially running like the risk of getting like caught and fined, by Brazil just for being on X. Like, come on, man, this is fucked up. Like, all because Elon Musk doesn't want to ban some people and like actually have some legal representation. So I'm glad he's come around. But let's read a little bit. Elon Musk fought the law. The law appears to have won. X, Musk's social media platform, has backed down in its fight with Brazilian judiciary after complying with the court's orders that had blocked users in the country from accessing X. The platform bowed to one of the key demands made by Brazil's Supreme Court by appointing a legal representative in the country. It also paid outstanding fines and took down user accounts that the court had ordered to be removed on the basis that they had threatened the country's democracy, the New York Times reported. So I think that last reason is why Elon said, "Oh, we're just closing up shop, we're leaving, and we don't need any representation," because he didn't want to actually have to make that concession. Which was like going through and deleting a bunch of accounts, because essentially people on the right is like, yeah, we love Elon, he's so free speech, blah blah blah, and like him making that kind of thing would be like, I can't believe you would do this, you betrayed us. So naturally he wanted to kind of uphold this, and he wanted to fight it, and he was just throwing tangentially. I was literally like scrolling on X, and I would see this shit from time to time, because he forces this shit to the top, or like highlighted fucking like portions of the app where you have to see his little fucking tweets, and it's like, yeah, Brazil is tyranny, blah 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 blah, they're a dictatorship. It's like, bro, you're throwing a tantrum. Like, at the end of the day, if you just complied and you paid up your fucking fines and you put a fucking legal representative here, the shit would all go away. That being said, technically the battle is not quite over. The Supreme Court said X had not filed the proper documentation showing that it had appointed Rachel de Oliveira Conceição, sorry, I know I'm getting it wrong, as its Brazilian representative. It gave the company 5 days to present documents validating her appointment. So we'll see if they abide by that. But essentially now this makes it so like, okay, people can, come back to the app, and, things can be good, and you don't have to use a VPN, you don't have to get fucking fined. I know, like, all people are crying about, free speech, but, like, Elon Musk does not care about fucking free speech at the end of the day. Because if you say something that Elon Musk doesn't like, he'll make sure that shit gets you either fucking banned, or, it gets slowed down so you don't even get to see it. At the end of the day, it's only free speech if he likes what you have to say, or he's saying it. So, I mean, it's whatever. It's his fucking app, he's Willy Wonka here, whatever. It doesn't matter. I am happy, though, to see this change, and I'm happy to see this motherfucker just kind of realize, like, nope, this is one of those situations where I should just back down, At the end of the day, they're bleeding a bunch of money here, because there's, 200 million customers in Brazil, so it's definitely important that you keep this market before they just say, you know what, I'm not ever going to come back to Twitter. I'm not ever going to come back to X, the everything app, you know what I mean? Let's see here. Was there anything else I really wanted to pull? Nah, I think we're good. I think we talked about it. We yapped enough on that one. Let's see. There's one more article I wanted to cover. So let's go ahead and take our last break, and we'll close out on some good news. Not that, the last thing, Elon Musk having to eat shit, is bad news. I love that shit. So, technically half this is... Actually, no. This is like 3/4 good. Like, let's actually, like, stop and smell the roses a bit. You know what I mean? Usually it's bad, 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 bad. And then this week was pretty rough. And technically, I guess, the Toronto thing is bad. Sex trafficking period, fucked up. But at least we got him, mission accomplished in the jumpsuit. Anyway, let's take our last break and we'll close it out. I feel like this is good news, but then we'll see. It's always a time will tell thing here. Ooh. Excuse me. Whew. Our last article comes from NPR. From, I already said that. Jeez, oh Pete. Marxist Dissanayake wins Sri Lanka's presidential election as voters reject old guard. Ooh-wee. Bear with me, y'all. Marxist lawmaker Anura Kamura Dissanayake won Sri Lanka's presidential election, according to data released by the Election Commission Sunday, as voters rejected the old political guard that has been widely accused of pushing the South Asian nation towards economic ruin. Dissanayake, whose pro-working class and anti-political elite campaigning made him popular among youth, secured victory among opposition leader Sajith Premadasa and incumbent Liberal President Ranil Wickremesinghe. I think I got that right there, maybe. Who took over the country 2 years ago after its economy hit bottom. Dissanayake received 5,740,179 votes, followed by Premadasa with 4,530,902. Election Commission data showed. Ooh, it's really working. I'm sorry, y'all. The election held Saturday was crucial as the country seeks to recover from the worst economic crisis in its history and the resulting political upheaval. Also, I kind of want to skip ahead here a bit. I like how their elections are kind of run because essentially they have it in a way that it's set up where they don't have to do a runoff, it seems. Like it's already kind of baked in. Neither candidate received more than 50% of the vote. Under the Sri Lankan election system that allows voters to select 3 candidates in order of their preference, the top 2 are retained, and the ballots of the eliminated candidates are checked for preferences given to either the top 2 vote getters. I don't know why I ended it with like that. Anyway, the one with the highest number of votes is declared the winner. So I like that process, maybe. I mean, I don't know, just at first blush reading that sounds very interesting. It seems like it kind of cuts off the idea of having to like re-vote in a runoff election kind of situation, which you've covered before in other elections. But yeah, I know that this was a lot of candidates. I initially had kind of heard when I first heard about the Sri Lankan elections this week. I was like, oh, it sounds like about 20 people. That's going to be really confusing. I don't know Bo Diddley. I know we've talked about Sri Lanka before, but I feel like it was like a couple of national or natural disasters kind of situations and not too much politics, maybe not. But I was like, okay, I know that they've been kind of going through some economic stuff. We'll kind of see how this goes. I'm happy to see the vote. You know, I mean, you kind of know the political leanings of this podcast, you know, as I see it, as I feel about it. So, Dissanayake seems cool, seems interesting. You know, you're going from one pick to another. I'm not terribly upset with the liberal pick, obviously. But then again, all this, you know, shit aside, it's always going to matter, like, how they lead and is there going to be results? Because if there's not positive results, it doesn't matter about the ideology or how positive it is or how it feels or the vibes or whatever. Fuck it. At the end of the day, people are going to say, this isn't good. We're now going to switch it up potentially again. And maybe we, instead of going further left, we're going to just say fuck it and go to the right. We've definitely seen that shit happen before, like with, like, what is it, Argentina? You know what I mean? So you never know. So, like I said, this is good news. We love to see it. I don't want to poo-poo it or anything like that, of course. But yeah, interesting news, interesting week. Let's see here. I don't want to do any more shilling or anything like that. So, thanks so much for tuning in. Thanks so much for being a friend. And hopefully I see you soon for some more good news. I love you. Bye-bye. Mwah.